Yerushalmi Sotah Daf Mem Aleph, and we're up. Daf Mem Amaveis and the bottom halacha Hey. Zok Mishnah. Mi Isha Shnot Tekevloi Chiluloi. So again, we're discussing over here what the Kahanim would say before they went into fight a war. So again, we're going to dash similar to the Mishnah halacha Dalid. Echad Netes again whether he planted whether he planted five fruit-bearing trees. I feel the Mechmeshes Aminim, even for the Chemeshes Aminim. Chita, so etc. Echad hanoiteya, whether it's somebody plants it, v'echad mavrich, whether he I forget the word. It's you take the one side, you stick it into the ground, and you snap it in the middle. Now you have two trees. V'echad markiv, whether you graft it into another tree. V'echad lekeyach, whether you bought the tree, whether you bought the kem. V'echad yosh, whether you yarshin it. V'echad levatana, whether it's given to him as a gift. Something again, similar to what we said. Daf mem ella. Elena Shenota. That's how he planted it. Lokach Yarosh Nitla Matana Minayin. Tamaloma Ish, Mio Ish, same riba. Fine. Minayin and the Teyach Mishilone Machol. That's not only a vineyard, it's five fruit bearing trees. I feel Mechmeshes Amin and Tamaloma Shenota. He planted something Komokim. So Yochel, I would think, Hanateabo Lone Machol. Let's say he planted four fruit bearing trees. Achamishalone Srako, five barren trees. Yehi Chayzer, maybe it goes back to. Right? It's just five. It's just five. Tamaloma. Kerem, Kerem Yuchad Shul Chomish Gefanim, just like a Kerem's Miyuchad that it's five grapevines. We know Keren is Shtaim Kneg Shtaim Vechad Yotzizanov. Yotzizeh Shein Shul Chomish Gefanim. Okay, now the Gemara says Shayayim Megitoi, if he has yain from the gas, that's in the vat, so it's not the ideal wine. Shayayin Kaisis Ma'arvin Boy. And yain kaisis, which is bad wine, wine that's kind of going bad already. It's still wine, not very good yet, but it's going bad. So ma'arvin you can still use it for an erev, mishtatzvin you can use it for sheet of voice, and vochanol. You can make a, you can make a by priagafen. Umezamnin olav, you use it for zimun, for benching, mekachim by sekala. You could you mekadosh, right? When you do the shever, what we call the shevrachs today. So the birchserison is to a kaisok to carbonada. Umenachem by all these to give them, I think, 10 cups of wine. So you can use it for the tuna oval, so you can use it for that. V'nimka bechanus l'shem yayin. It can be sold l'shem yayin, and we don't say that there's a no here because it's kind of not the highest quality. V'amoichlav he yain stam v'nimt, and okay, according to Carbonade, it's hamoichlav he yain stam. Loy macha loy. I'll just go with the regular guess that it's him because it's the same shot. V'amoichlav he yain stam. Someone sells yain stam and he sells them. It's a yain kaisis. Loy macha loy yain kais. We don't say, oh, he sold him an inferior wine if he owes him some kind of refund. No, it's a sales chal. V'asabayra, if you drink the yankosis, you can't paskin. Not allowed to paskin when you drink wine. Overhet and nedarim. Also, v'albias migdosh, yechayiv, if a person walks in bias migdosh after he drank yankosis. Less lecha. So what's the difference between yankosis and regular wine? Less lecha. The only difference is elishu also al gabim mizbech. Can bring it for nesachim. V'ahein ben Saira umayra tzrich. What if a ben Saira umayra came and he drank yain kaisis? Is it can he have it in of ben Saira umayra? So we're not sure. And I forget what it is. And with the Carbonado, the Pnei Moshe point out that actually the Bavli says that it's pshita on the b'yai megisa in and asa ben Saira umayra. And with inferior wine, you do not become Saira because the whole din, which makes sense also because the whole din of a ben sarmar is that he'll be nimshach achro, but this is inferior wines. He's not going to be nimshach. Who would drink cheap wine? Yachal and take care of chutz laaretz yechoiz. So again, I would think if I planted a vineyard in chutz laaretz, I should go back. Time alone, but et mitzvah lechaloi. We have a mitzvah to lechalol your vineyard. Yatzazeh mitzvah lechalol. It's only in Eretz Yisrael. Time was when Yaakov ein mashma ela kerem. So mashma sounds like only a kerem. Udukavasa in mashma also elanata. So according, if you take it very literally, what we're saying is according to Relez Yaakov, the mashmos is only if you bought, only if you planted it. If you bought it, then you don't get to go back. Tani v'lo chiluloi prat lemavrich ulemarkiv. That excludes Mavrich Nav. You wouldn't go back from Rabbi Yochanan. This must be the Rosh Miyakov. He's got to be Rosh Miyakov. We see he's very literal with this. So you have to plant it, and if you mark, in other words, if you take any shortcut, then it wouldn't. It does not. It doesn't count. Amar Rav Chisda Divrei HaKoli. No, I can say Divrei HaKoli. Because Peris Aveira. He took two minim and he grafted them. In such a case, Taki wouldn't go back. Freit Gemara Man, okay, what are we talking about? Im Shehikev Ilo Machal Agabi Ilo Machal Min B'Sheina Minoi. And it's two different meaning in Peris Averehain. So what's the have meaning? Im B'Sheikev Ilo Machal Agabi Ilo Strak. If he grafted a fruit bearing tree into a barren tree, Min B'Minoi. That's like he's planting it to give What's the problem? Because the Innsbruck wasn't getting any Paris, and now he's getting Paris. So it's like he planted it. Okay, and again, we're talking about Peshehik to Ein Shchara Agabatein Levena. So even though they have a different appearance, but it's the same. The Chiddush is it's the same min. Emesu Mechaluloi is now afraid to Gemara. When is the din of the chil? Is that Revius or Chamishis? And because mistabras the Gemara b'chamishes, because that's the real chil. Because al b'revius damim hu chayv, because you have to paid it in the fourth year. So therefore, it's only when you consider it to be chil when it's free. The fifth year when you can just take the fruit straight without paiding, being paid them. Rabbanan the kisnam no le mistaber el revius. The ksiv. And because it says in the pasuk, it's a pasuk. Shana Revius, year called period of Kodesh Hashem, Kodesh Hilulim Hashem, and we're darshan hey in the ches are interchangeable, so it's Hilulim Hashem. So you see, B'Shana Revius, even the fourth year, Zog the Chachamim, Zog Deli Mishnah Lochavav. Mi Isha She'eris Isha. Beloy Lakha, and they didn't consummate the marriage yet. Echad Tama'aris Besula Vech the Maris Salmana, Filu Shemeris Yavam. So whether she's a psula, whether she's an amana, whether it's just even a shemeris yavam, afilu shama shemes achiv b'milchama chayzer bala. So let's say he was fighting the war and his brother died, he can go back. And even though he may have other brothers, like we'll see. So all these people that get to go back, they don't get to go back and relax by the pool. They get to they have to actually go, and they do public service, so they have to go, and they're the support team for the soldiers. So they have to put together food and water for them and fix the road so they can travel to get to the war. So Tikmar Sheres Isha Elilia Ruba Shnasariba. We're talking about a bacha that married a bachara. Right? Minayin Ruba Shnasalmana, let's say, or Almoin Shnasariba, Minayin Tamalaima, Isha Mikamakim and Isha, Ma Tamalaima Chadasha. So why say Chadasha and say Isha? No, Pratlamach Esgrusha. So that comes like we said with the house. If you built the house on the same place it was, so Grusha, so it would have the same din. You're remarrying the same woman, you don't go back. So we see from over here, since it's not a mitzvah to be with her, to be with an idleness, you're not supposed to marry an idleness. Therefore, he doesn't go back. All five would go back. Um, Actually, no, I'm sorry. That the Gemara is asking this as a cash. It would come out like that, but that's right now. It's a cash. Afilu shmeis yom l'chamisha achim. With the kabasa afilu ba'isach l'misha achim. Say the same thing. If five brothers inherit a house, maybe they all go back for one house. No, so Gemara that's different. Why? Because taman ain't kol echad ve'echad roi leisha boy. A house is meant for one person. Right? Even sharing it, you can't really share a house. It's meant for one person. Since only one person can live in it. Right? The shutfus doesn't really count. Bram hoch over here kol echad ve'echad roi liyibum. Right? Each one is roy liyibum. I should explain a little bit better. By the house, they each have a share in the house. So you can't say that the whole house belongs to one person. Because they each have a share in the house. However, by Yibam, the reason all five brothers will go back for the one Yivam is because each one has the capability of doing the entire Yibam, right? Can't all five don't do the Yibam. But since you don't know which one it is, it's a din of Breira, so you don't know which one it is, so they all five get to go back. Madami law. What's similar to a Shemeris Yavam? Shemeis, I'm just reading from the covenant. Madami law, the Shemeris Yavam, Shemeis Baila b'Mulchama, that her husband died during the war. Kiddush Isha me'achshav. La'acha shnei masa chodesh, v'shalom azman b'mulchama, then chayzer baloi. So this is similar to a case where he's mekadesh the isha me'achshav, so that's before the war. So he's Mekadosh before the war. Then he's going out to fight the war. And the Zman, he says, I'm going to Mekadosh you now for in a year from now. We're going to get, and so that year is Chal during the war. So then he gets to go back, right? Because that's similar to the case of Shemeris Yavam, where the Kiddushin of the brother was from before the war. Then he died during the war, so they can get to go back. But let's say he didn't say Me'achshav. Let's say he's Mekadosh Isha La'achar Shnei Masach Chodesh, which is during the war, then ain't a chayza because you're not supposed to be ma'aris. There's no Indian of being ma'aris nisha during the war to get to go back. It's only if you did it before the war. Okay, as I said to Gemara. Zok Delige Mishnah, Halacha Zayin, Ve'elu She'ein Chayzrin. These people don't get to go back. So like we saw, Abon Ve'shach Sadu Mepeses, V'noy Ta'abo Linu Meichel, Achamisha L'Nisrak, V'amatzes Gurushasei. That we had all this. We had already Amon Kohen Gadol, Grusha V'chlutzul Kohen Hedjim, Mamzes L'Sin L'Yisrael, Bas Yisrael Mamzel L'Sin, Lo Yechaz, in all these cases, these are relationships, these are not kosher relationships. We don't have a bona bias al mechoinu lo yechayza, that if you built your house exactly the way it was before, you rebuilt it, it collapsed, and you rebuilt, then you don't go back. But if you built a brick house in Shorin, you didn't go back because we know, and we'll see that the Gemara, the Kohen Gadol used to have a special tefillah that the people shouldn't get buried in their houses. So it wasn't meant to last, and you only went back for a house that was meant to last. Zok the Martin Rabbi Yehuda Mechidish Badavar. Rabbi Yehuda will agree that if you mechadish something in the house that you're building the exact same house, but you're adding something, then chayzer. Otherwise, you're not mechadish anything in a chayzer. So the besid, the pasuk by chaloinus lo chayzer. Just smearing it with sid or opening up an extra window, that's not considered to be a shinui. But you got vasoy cut. And chayzer, if it was a big house, meaning it's a small house, then you can go back. Ve'echad vasoy shnayim. What's if it was one house and you turned it into two houses? So then, Zicha, you would go back because now you split into two houses. That's the second shot in the carbonated. Because every 7 years they have to rebuild their house twice. And Af Kohen Gadol, you know the famous tefillah. So we see that since the houses were meant to last, they did not get to go back during before the war.